Welcome to the MGM Resorts webinar, which will be led by Walter Baer, Strategic Marketing and Communications Manager for MGM Resorts. Walter has been with MGM Resorts for 8 years. During this time, Walter has held several positions on the sales and marketing teams. As International Sales Manager in charge of the Canadian, European, and Australian markets, Walter oversaw the relationships with major international accounts such as WestJet, Virgin Holidays, and Flight Centre. Within the marketing team, Walter has been developing the transient division communication strategy and using his expertise in international sales to further the MGM Resorts marketing program with overseas accounts. Today, Walter will give you an exclusive sneak peek of what's in store for the hotel giant in 2020, with lots of major changes and exciting updates. You will get to learn more about the experiences that MGM Resorts offers, as well as what makes MGM Resorts the premier global entertainment company it is. Before we officially begin, a few housekeeping items. During the presentation, feel free to enter your questions in the question box. We'll gather them together and hold a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. If we don't get to your question, don't worry. MGM Resorts will follow up with you via email to make sure your questions are answered. And don't worry, if you miss something, this webinar is being recorded and you will receive a link via email to access the recording at your leisure. For those who attend the entire presentation, one attendee will win a 3-night stay at the Mirage. All attendees will earn 1 CEU credit. Now let's get started. Take it away, Walter.
Thank you. I hope everybody is doing well this afternoon. My name is Walter with MGM Resorts. I hope you're all familiar with MGM Resorts, but in case you are not, I can give you a very brief overview. MGM Resorts has 14 hotels in Las Vegas, all on the Las Vegas Strip, and we're actually soon going down to 13 because we just sold Circus Circus. Sadly, that was one of my favorite hotels. But we have about 42,000 hotel rooms just in Las Vegas, located on the Strip. Just to put that in perspective for you guys, if you were to sleep in one hotel room every day, a different hotel room every day, it would take you 115 years to sleep in every single one of our hotel rooms. So we have a lot of rooms in Las Vegas. We have 4 arenas and theaters as well to offer all sorts of entertainment options for any of our guests. But this particular presentation, we wanted to give you an exclusive look as to what's new and what's coming in 2020 with all of our resorts. We got a lot of cool things going on, so we wanted to share these with you. So here's the list of our resorts. We have Mandalay Bay, Delano. They're the ones that sit further south on the Las Vegas Strip and have some of the best views, I would say, in Las Vegas. Delano, Las Vegas has the Skyfall Lounge at the very top on the 64th floor, and Mandalay Bay on the very top as well has the Foundation Room. Both of them, because they're on the very south end of the Strip, overlook the entirety of the Strip. Excalibur and Luxor are adjacent to that. Then we have Park MGM, which is one of the newest hotels on the Las Vegas Strip, so we'll talk a lot about that here later on. Nomad, which is on the very top of Park MGM, and New York as well. Both of those hotels sit right in front of the brand new T-Mobile Arena, which is, if any of you are hockey fans, that is where the Golden Knights play. And then potentially, if we ever get an NBA team, a basketball team as well. But that is for another day. We have the MGM Grand and the Signature, which together make up one of the largest hotels in the world. MGM Grand, back when it opened, was the largest hotel in the world. Now it is the third, behind the Genting Hotel in Malaysia and the Venetian, because they count Venetian and Palazzo as one hotel. But if you ask me, I would say that's cheating, because I would say they're 2 hotels. Anyway, Aria and Vdara, both of those are part of the City Center complex that was built back in 2009. So they're a couple of our newest full builds. And then you have, of course, the world famous Bellagio, and then Mirage, which is often considered the Las Vegas's original mega resort, kind of that resort that started it all. Um, we'll go ahead and kind of go down the list, and we'll go through some of the new things that we had in 2019, as well as what we have coming for 2020. So let's start with Bellagio. In 2019, we replaced our normal Bellagio cafe with Seidel's. So Seidel's is a Jewish deli. They have iconic breakfast, and it's an iconic breakfast and brunch spot from New York City, and offers unique dining experience, including a rolling cart display with all sorts of pastries, Bloody Mary carts. They're constantly roaming the dining room. They have a massive sandwich that they call a triple decker. My first time going in there, I thought it was just a normal club sandwich, and so I ordered it myself. That thing could probably feed an entire army. So if you ever go there and order anything and order that triple decker, make sure you go with a few people. Um, but one of the cool things about Seydel's is the location. It overlooks the Bellagio Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. So when you go inside and dine there, you get a very nice floral uh, environment as well that sits all around you. Some of the new things coming in 2020, we have the Mayfair Supper Club, which is going to be opening New Year's Eve of 2020. So, or New Year's Eve of 2019, New Year's of 2020. So it's just around the corner. And that is going to be taking place of Hyde Lounge. If any of you have ever been to Hyde Lounge in Bellagio, Hyde Lounge overlooks the fountains of Bellagio. So it is a very, very unique venue because not only are you there to dine, but you also get to catch all of the different fountain shows as well. I myself have never been to a supper club, but this one is inspired by top supper clubs in London and around the world, and it is supposed to redefine the traditional dinner and show with an evolving experience that changes throughout the evening. So it is not a nightclub like like Hyde Lounge was. This is more of a show while you dine. So very, very unique to Bellagio and very, very unique to Las Vegas as well. Next, going into Aria, a few of the things that are new and Vidara as well. Some of the things that are new in 2019 is the Resort Club Lounge at both Aria and Vidara. In the club lounges, you can go and receive breakfast. They have snacks constantly available, TVs. It's a nice little relaxing place that you can go um, and catch a quick snack and watch the news or watch CNBC or anything you want to do in there. But just a little bit of an escape to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of the strip. And then the tech-focused fitness center at Aria. That also just opened. They completely redid the fitness center. And Aria is a very technology-heavy resort. So because of that, they made sure to incorporate a lot of technology into the fitness center as well. Coming in 2020, Din Tai Fung. I'd had the opportunity to eat at one of those in Seattle uh, the other month, a couple months ago, but I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. But I hear it's amazing. Din Tai Fung is there's 170 other locations, but it is a very, very good restaurant. It's known to provide superior food and service, including Shanghai-style soup dumplings and hand-pulled noodles to go along with other unique menu items. And then, of course, all throughout the year, the Aria lobby changes out its decor for all sorts of cool and unique little exhibits. So MGM Grand and Signature. What's new in 2019? International Smoke. That is going to be opening here in late 2019. International Smoke is a restaurant that is in collaboration between Michael Mina and Aisha Curry. It started as a pop-up restaurant in San Francisco, but now has 5 locations, and this would be the first in Las Vegas. The focus is on wood-fired cooking techniques and smoke-infused dishes. It's taking the place of Pub 1842, which sat right outside of the MGM Grand Garden Arena. So it's a great place for tailgating and enjoying pre-sporting food or late night food and drinks as well. The menu is going to feature locally sourced meats and fresh seafood. It'll have some plant-based options and a creative beverage program, including punch bowls and a carefully curated beer list. Uh, so if you'd ever been to Pub 1842, they were known for their beer. 1842 was actually named that because that was the year the Pilsner was invented. So again, replacing it with a place that'll have a large beer selection for any of your beer lovers. Another restaurant that opened up is Ambra Italian Kitchen and Bar. It blends classic Italian fare and craft cocktails with its colorful surroundings. It embraces a simple yet refined approach to food using conventional cooking methods and flavors found throughout different regions of Italy. Some of the things on the menu, the prime beef tartare and truffle vinaigrette is amazing. They have lobster spaghetti as well with squid ink pasta. I kind of think that the squid ink pasta is a little too weird for my taste, but lobster spaghetti is amazing. 45-day dry aged tomahawk ribeye. I I love my food, so a large tomahawk ribeye is one of my all-time favorites. So lots of great food there. And it actually has its own small speakeasy in the back. So in the very back of it, there's a fake wall that can be moved aside, and inside is a little bit more of a rowdy atmosphere. So you can dine outside where it is a little more quiet, or you can find this speakeasy, and inside it's a little more of a rowdy atmosphere if you want to dine with a little more energy. And then there's also the Hunger Games exhibit. That opened up earlier in the summer of 2019, but it is a fully immersive attraction which features archery training, um, and you can see set decorations and costumes that were used throughout the films. The archery experiences uses a 60-foot wide interactive digital training lab, and it's the first of its kind on the strip. So when you go in there with your bow, you see there's essentially a wall, a digital display with different targets that will move throughout it, and you have to be able to hit those targets with your arrows. So it's a very cool interactive exhibition. And it showcases over 30 of the original costumes, including the iconic Girl on Fire dress. So some of the other things going on at MGM Grand. MGM Grand has several different theaters, including the MGM Grand Garden Arena as well. So some of the things going on into some of the events that will be happening in 2020. The ACM Awards, those will be returning to the MGM Grand Garden Arena. We'll have the Nice to Meet You tour by Niall Horan. That'll also be at Grand Garden. And then Ozzy Osbourne, he will be there in July. And then, of course, we have our theaters, the David Copperfield Theater. He's always performing there. They call him the hardest working man in showbiz because he will perform up to 3 shows nightly, 7 days a week. He'll do that for 2 weeks straight, and then I think he disappears to his private Caribbean island for 2 weeks and then comes back. We have Brad Garrett's Comedy Club as well. He will occasionally stop by, and a lot of times he'll surprise the audience as well. So sometimes you'll go to Brad Garrett's Comedy Club with a specific lineup of people, excluding Brad Garrett, and then out of the blue he'll show up and he'll do his comedy routine as well. So always a fun time at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club. And then of course with our Cirque partnership, we have Ka by Cirque du Soleil at MGM Grand as well. Moving on to Mandalay Bay and Delano. So one of the new things going on there is Hazel Coffee and Cocktails. So for all of you coffee lovers, we have a mixology program that features classic cocktails and modern variations, including the Manhattan, Cosmopolitan, and the Martini, the classic old fashioned, and the modern old fashioned, which I guess are two separate drinks. The ambiance is inspired by a living room with gold lounge sofas and green velvet chairs. So it's supposed to kind of give you a homey like feel on the Las Vegas Strip. And then Mandalay Bay, of course, we also have another arena there as well. That is the home to the Las Vegas Aces, which is Las Vegas's WNBA team. Their season starts during the summer, so they can always be found playing in the arena during the summertime over here in Las Vegas. But on top of that, we have David Lee Roth as well. He'll be at the House of Blues, and Santana, he is constantly at the House of Blues. So for any of you Santana fans, he is always over here in Las Vegas. We have the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament. That'll be here between March 5th and 8th. Again, David Lee Roth will be here in March. In April, that's normally when we start the concerts on the beach. So if any of you have ever been to the Mandalay Bay Beach, there's a stage that juts out of the water and out of the wave pool, and we constantly have concerts that will roll through here, maybe once every week to once every other week. We've had bands like E6, Sublime, Snoop Dogg, even though back when he performed, he was known as Snoop Lion. He had that weird little phase. But it is one of the most unique places, I would say, in Las Vegas to watch a concert, because not only are you outside with Mandalay Bay behind you, but you also have the wave pool running, you have the water in front of you, and then you have the Mandalay Beach there as well. So you can actually be swimming in the wave pool while you're listening to some of these bands like Sublime and E6 perform. We'll have the U.S. Open 9-ball championship at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. So for any of you billiards fans who want to get over here for that, we'll have that going on. Santana, again, always here. He'll be here throughout May as well. And then the Aces, of course, will be starting in June and rolling throughout the summer. So Park MGM, I could probably talk about the entire property because the whole thing is new. But I'll try and only talk about the newest venues in Park MGM to kind of save a little bit of time. But we have the Crack Shack. That is new to Park MGM. It is gourmet fried chicken eatery, and it is known for one-of-a-kind menu items and fun vibes. I believe it comes from San Diego. There's a Crack Shack there as well, so it's already a well-established and famous establishment. It's a fast, casual atmosphere, so somewhere where you can go in and grab a quick bite as opposed to wanting to sit down and spend 2 hours dining. It's got elevated dish offerings, including the Hangover, which is a breakfast sandwich made with a fried egg, honey butter, fried chicken, red eye coffee aioli atop a freshly baked biscuit. So it also sounds like it might give you a heart attack, but sounds absolutely delicious. We have Mama Rabbit that just opened up as well earlier this year. It is by James Beard award-winning chef Bricia Lopez, and it fuses the dynamic atmosphere of a Mexican taverna with the intimate and sexy allure of a speakeasy. It also has the largest collection of tequila and mezcal as well, which I have no idea what mezcal is, actually. That is kind of the anybody that knows will have to shoot me an email. But it's got 3 distinct environments: a double-sided bar to serve walk-up guests, and a sophisticated taverna with an elaborate fireplace. And then it also has live music that constantly plays nightly. At the theater we have there, so Park Theater, we have Lady Gaga and Aerosmith coming back. Aerosmith will be is set up for some January and February shows, and then they'll be back in May and June. Lady Gaga will be here for her normal show, which is called Enigma. That will start in May. And then we have her jazz and piano as well starting in May, which is kind of her acoustic variation. I've not seen Lady Gaga yet. I hear she puts on an amazing show, but I've heard a lot of people say that they prefer her jazz and piano show over her full Enigma show. So just something to keep in mind. And then we have Cher. She's been around for a little while, and we have her back as well. She's coming back for her shows in February at Park Theater. I have seen Cher, and you wouldn't believe the costume changes that she goes through. And for being a woman who is in her 70s right now, She still looks fantastic, and she still moves like she was 20. In March, we have 311. They'll be coming to Park Theater as well from March 11th through the 13th. And then right behind Park Theater, in the area that we call the Park, we have T-Mobile Arena. So in January, we have the Fortress Invitational, which is a hockey game between four college teams. There is Cornell, Ohio State, Providence, and Army, the military academy at West Point. So we will have that from January 3rd to 4th. We have George Strait. He was around a lot more in the past. We had George Strait come through T-Mobile Arena quite a bit when it first opened back in 2016. He's taken a little bit of a break, but he's back in January of this year, so we'll have him January 31st and February 1st. In March, at the same time as the ladies' basketball tournament at Mandalay Bay Event Center, we will have the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament happening from the 11th through the 14th. And then, of course, it is the official home of USC and also the Vegas Golden Knights, who will be playing many games throughout the year. Okay, on to Mirage. So Mirage, we have Shin Lim's Limitless. That just opened up earlier, and I've heard his residency has been extended as well. So he is the first person to ever win America's Got Talent twice, which we also have another resident America's Got Talent winner, Terry Fader. So Shin Lim's got a leg up on that, winning it twice. Terry Fader only won it once. He has admitted that he is not a magician or wizard, unfortunately, and has no intention of lying to his audience, but he performs carefully choreographed routines combining dexterity, precision, and grace. I haven't been to a show yet, but my mother-in-law has, and she said it is absolutely phenomenal. So that is definitely on my list of shows to go see while I'm here. We have Diablo's Cantina. We used to have one at Monte Carlo when it was Monte Carlo. It was a very popular Mexican eatery, but that closed down when we turned Monte Carlo into Park MGM. We had Diablo's Cantina moved to Luxor, which I'll be talking about again when we get to Luxor, but we have another one coming to Mirage as well. So it's an iconic Mexican cantina, and this will be its second location that will be opening. And it is known for its classic Mexican cuisine and cocktail list with an electric atmosphere. And then we also at Mirage have the Aces of Comedy. So we'll have a lot of them coming back as well. Jim Jeffries, Gabriel Iglesias, they're included in the 2020 lineup. We have Ray Romano, David Spade, Daniel Tosh, Tiffany Haddish, Ron White, Tim Allen, and Jay Leno. So a lot of some of the biggest names in comedy. They're constantly on rotation coming through the Mirage. Over at New York, a couple things that opened up there. Zumanity, didn't just open up, but Zumanity has been around for a little while. But something new for them is they have now offer wedding packages. So if you want to get married during a Cirque du Soleil show and be part of it, you can now do that with Zumanity at New York. We also introduced a virtual reality experience to our roller coaster. So if you've never been to New York, we have a roller coaster that encircles the entire property. And now, if you would like, you can add on a virtual reality package on top of that, where you will wear a virtual reality headset, and it uses the motion of the roller coaster to make it look like you are zooming through Las Vegas with aliens attacking it. So kind of a very unique experience there as well. A lot of new things going on at Luxor. So we already talked about Diablo's. That one is now open at Luxor. So it is the first, I guess, kind of the 1.2 restaurant to open up on the Strip. So we have that. That is already going on at Luxor. We have the HyperX Esports Arena. That is an esports arena which features tournaments private video game areas, and an expansive collection of new and vintage video games. So I mean, back when I was a kid, they were known as video games, not esports. But esports now is all the rage. You have all sorts of popular video games that are coming out, and we have an arena now where people can play these new and trending video games, and other people can watch them. They will constantly have some of the best video gamers for these particular games. One of the most popular ones right now is a game called Fortnite, and one of the most popular video gamers for that video game is someone named Ninja. I do not think that is his real name given to him at birth, but that is what we call him, Ninja. And he will constantly come in and he will have Beat Ninja tournaments where people can pay I think it's like a $30 fee, and they can see if they can, beat one of the best players in the world at this particular video game. And then other people can watch and cheer them on as well. They also have a small rotunda that has all of the vintage video game systems as well, like Atari, the regular original Nintendo, Super Nintendos. So anything that you used to play, Super Mario, Pitfall, anything like that, you can play those, and that is something that's for free as well. So kind of a cool little attraction. And then we also have Run, which just opened up at the very end of 2019. It is a Cirque du Soleil show, but I have not seen it yet, but I've been told it is nothing like Cirque du Soleil. So it is very different. If you're going there expecting Cirque, you might be disappointed. But it is a live action thriller. So from what I've been told, it is almost like an action movie live on stage. It is a sensory experience using live action performances, cutting edge technology, and multimedia to explore a world of stunts inspired by action movies and graphic novels. The guy who wrote Run is Robert Rodriguez, so he is a big film writer, very well known for his action movies. It is very unique to Cirque du Soleil, featuring a linear storyline as opposed to the usual loose threads of the other shows. And it is the 10th partnership between Cirque du Soleil and MGM Resorts. So we have a very deep tie with Cirque du Soleil, and this is their 10th show at one of our properties. Last but not least, we have Excalibur. So what's new in 2019? We have Hans Klok, who is known as the world's fastest magician. He has been knighted by the King of the Netherlands for his exceptional personal commitment, vision, and whose achievements are beneficial to the country and society as a whole. So we have a Dutch knight, not to be confused with the other knights that perform at the Tournament of Kings. We have the Thunder from Down Under showroom that was renovated. It cost us $6 million to do, but we have two different shows in there, the Thunder from Down Under and then the Australian Bee Gees that both use that theater, so it is completely redone. We have a new bar and lounge called Vagabond, which is a sports bar atmosphere and offers casual dining with bar-style games. And then you can see there's some little arcade games as well, but they have other things like cornhole, Jenga, stand-up arcade, and then live music performances as well. They've got large TVs all throughout the venue for any sporting event that you might want to watch. And the menu is it consists of a lot of recognizable comfort food and American favorites like cheeseburgers and all of the good stuff that's delicious. And then we have Frites as well, which is going to be coming here late 2019. That is the first ever French fry concept restaurant on the Strip. So they'll specialize in all sorts of French fries. Being from Idaho and Idahoan, I think it's great because starchy potatoes run through my veins. But they are front and center. They'll be fried in beef tallow for the perfect fry. No idea what beef tallow is. So again, if anybody knows, please let me know. But you can order them plain or with a variety of toppings, almost like a poutine type of thing with gravies and cheese curds in the image here. on your screen. You've got bacon and chives and everything on top of it, almost like, looking like a baked potato. So all sorts of delicious things. And with that, those are all of the new things that have happened in 2019, a lot of the new venues, and then a lot of the upcoming events that we have going on at our properties as well. So I will now open it up to questions. And if anybody has any questions, don't be afraid to ask.
Thank you very much, Walter. That was actually very, very interesting. There's lots to do at all the MGM resorts. And I actually got to see a bit of a preview of Run when I was attending the Virtuoso show, and it looks amazing. Like it's very different, as you noted, from the more traditional Cirque shows, but it looks like just a really, really, really cool piece. Very different, very nice. Um, one question is, with most people wanting to visit multiple resorts in Las Vegas, what advantages are there to staying at one of your properties?
So I think there are a few. Obviously, we always want people to stay on our own properties because I think if you were to stay at Luxor, or Excalibur, or wherever, but say you want a luxury dining experience that only a place like Bellagio can offer, we want to make it as easy as you can to get from Luxor to Bellagio. So we do have three free trams on our properties. One that goes from Mandalay Bay to Luxor and to all the way to Excalibur. So it connects those three properties. And then we have another one that goes from Park MGM to Aria to Vidara and Bellagio. So it connects those four properties. Both of them are constantly running. I think they shut down at midnight and then open up again at 9 in the morning. So there is a brief period during the nighttime when they don't run, but throughout the day, you can always hitch a ride on one of those free trams. Also, at our properties, you do have to pay for parking now. However, if you pay for parking at one of our hotels, so if you drive your car, you're staying at Luxor, let's say, and then you want to visit Bellagio again to, let's say, go see the Bellagio fountains, or go see the conservatory, you do not have to pay for parking again when you get to Bellagio. So you can drive your car to Bellagio, you can drive your car to any of our properties, and you will not have to pay for parking again. The only parking you'll have to pay for is at Luxor.
Oh, that's cool. All right. And speaking of Bellagio, what time do the fountains go off, and when is the best time to see them?
So those go off from on weekdays. They go off from 3 o'clock until 11 o'clock,
Okay.
and they go off every half hour. But at 8 o'clock, there is a switch to every 15 minutes. On weekends, they go from noon until midnight. And again, at 8 o'clock, it switches from every half hour to every 15 minutes. So I think at 8 o'clock onward is always the best time because not only are you going to be able to see it when it's every 15 minutes apart instead, so you can stay for a few more extra shows, but it should be dark at that time and you'll have the lights going on as well with the fountains. So it just provides
Yeah,
a little bit extra.
yeah, that's very pretty. Okay, so what are some of the most family-friendly resorts of MGM Resorts?
I would say when you're looking at properties like, I guess it depends on your on what you're looking for in terms of family friendly, but a property like Excalibur definitely has a lot of things for the kiddos to do. A place like Luxor as well, uh, with the new esports arena and all of the video games that they have in there. Also, some of the more casual eateries and the food courts. Those tend to make those two properties a little more family friendly. When you're looking at a little more upscale, I'd say Park MGM is a great place. They're not going to have some of the arcades and stuff like that that a Luxor or an Excalibur would have, but a Park MGM does have probably one of the most unique rooms in the it is called the Nightingale Suite, and that one will actually sleep 6 people. So most hotels, when you're looking for like a normal room or a junior suite, they're only going to sleep a max of 4. but the Nightingale suite will has two queen beds inside as well as a pull-out couch, so that one will sleep six at a very, very nominal upgrade charge from the base room type.
That's a great name, Nightingale Suite. And
Yeah, they're
also,
all named after park birds. So we have the Nightingale, the
oh, okay,
Skylark, and the Nighthawk suite.
that's cool. That's nice. And you also mentioned that, have you done the virtual reality on the Big Apple roller coaster? Because that's great for kids.
Yes, absolutely. And if you stay at Park MGM or Excalibur, actually, the New York is right across the street. But I did do it, and I think it's great. It's a lot of fun, especially when you do it once to see what the roller coaster looks like normally, and then
Uh-huh.
do it
Yeah.
a second time with the goggles on. I think it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's very different, unique. And so in terms of luxury clients, which are the best hotels for luxury clients?
Luxury clients, you're looking at Aria, Bellagio, Vdara, Delano, Signature. Those are going to be the probably the best ones for luxury clients. Bellagio obviously is just one of the we always say it's one of the top hotels in Las Vegas. It's world famous. Aria with all the technology they have going on. Both of those are rated five diamonds by AAA. Vdara, Signature, and Delano. Those are all. Those three are all suite non-gaming hotels. So if you want a little bit a little bit more of an exclusive feeling. Sometimes those are the best ones to go to. The rooms are going to be a little bit bigger. Actually, Delano has the largest entry level rooms on the Las Vegas Strip. So massive, and you start at a one bedroom suite as well. So you have your own separate living room and bedroom at Delano.
Cool. And I've been lucky enough to stay at Bellagio and Aria. So yeah,
Oh yeah, if you
nice.
ever
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
Bellagio, you have to go to get into a fountain view room. Something
Uh-huh.
that's really cool is if you have a fountain view room, you can change the channel. It was channel 42. I think they recently kind of redid it, but they still have a fountain channel. And if you're staying in your room, you can tune into the fountain channel on the television, and whenever the fountains go off, it will play the music from the fountains through your TV. So you get the full
Oh, okay, cool.
immersive experience from your hotel room watching the fountains out the window, and you get a very unique perspective on the fountains as well, which is really really cool.
One of my favorite things at the Bellagio is the Sarah Jessica Parker shoe store, but that's just a personal favorite.
I'm not a
Anyway,
big shopper,
but it
but
is
I
a
heard it's a
beautiful
great
little store.
store.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I have a pair of shoes, of course. So what's the busiest time of the year and what's the slowest time of the year?
So we're almost always busy. We run most of our hotels at about 90 to 95% occupancy throughout the year. So it's always going to be a busy time. However, when you look at the spring, so when you look at like March, early April, and then when you look at fall, like late September, October, those are where a lot of big name conventions are coming into town. And because those conventions will sometimes take up most of not just our rooms, but just the entire city's rooms, that can cause the rate to skyrocket. So during those months, I would say it can get a little, even though you're still looking at 90% occupancy during the other times. That is probably what I would refer to as the busiest time, just because that's when the rate's going to usually be the highest.
And what would you consider the nicest weather? When is the best time if somebody's looking for really nice weather?
Ooh, I'd probably say right around those times too, actually, because it's
Okay.
not too hot, but
Uh-huh.
the pools are going to be they're going to be open. It's going to be great swimming weather. I think May is fantastic as well. Usually that's kind of right before it gets really hot here. The pools are all open. You're looking probably around like 90 degrees. Once you start getting into June, July, and August, you can start hitting the hundreds. So maybe try and stay away from those periods if you can, but I think it all depends on what you're here to do. Some people as well, they like to burn their faces off when they're here. We get people who say, "I like coming here in July because I love the triple digit weather." So preferences. You know, some people, I myself being from, you know, the north of Idaho, I like the cold a little bit more, so I tend to stay inside during those times. But I would probably say for me personally, May, you know, March, April, May, and then September, October. Those are probably the best months.
Okay, cool. And what do you guys have, obviously, with all your F&B options? Is there some sort of foodie package that maybe the travel agents can recommend to their clients in terms of hopping around to the different resorts? Do you have anything that sort of
Not
like that?
so much. We don't really have any like package where it's like a credit or anything like that. Sometimes we'll go out with different promotions that offer food and beverage credits. There's actually one out right now, where if you book any of our hotels, you can get a tiered dining credit that is good for breakfast and lunch at, you know, the property cafes and things like that. I believe at Bellagio it is $70 per day, and then it, you know, kind of tiers downwards as you get into the Luxors and the Excaliburs. But a lot of our eateries do offer certain packages with shows on property. So Le Cirque, for instance, at Bellagio is a circus inspired restaurant, and it is also a five diamond restaurant. But that offers a Cirque du Soleil paired menu where they kind of take different dishes inspired by the show O, which is at Bellagio,
Hmm.
and kind of pair that up, and then after your meal, you can then go to the Cirque du Soleil show. So they have that, and then also throughout all of our resorts, you can charge back uh, any meal to your room. So let's say you stay at Luxor and want to dine at a restaurant at Park MGM, you can, even though you're staying at a whole different property, when the bill comes, you can charge your meal to your room at Luxor.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's a great option for travel agents. All right.
Yeah, so
So
just
I
trying to make
think,
things easy.
yeah, exactly. And there are so many amazing food and beverage options at all the resorts. They're really incredible.
Absolutely, there's hundreds of them.
So would you know how long it would take to eat at every single one of them since you had the stat at the beginning? No, I'm kidding. I'm guessing you don't have that stat.
I don't. For me, probably an hour. For maybe others, maybe a couple months. But you're looking at, I think we have 215 restaurants across all of our properties. So, you know, if you're looking at breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a different restaurant every single time, you're looking at over a month in order to accomplish
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Anyway, thanks again for the webinar. So we're ready to announce the winner of the 3 night stay at the Mirage. And the winner is Rose Bacchus Ham. That is Rose Bacchus, spelled Backus, Ham. And congratulations, Rose. You get to stay three
congratulations,
nights
Rose.
at the Mirage. And thank you all for attending the webinar. And thank you, Walter, for providing your expertise on MGM Resorts. And have a lovely rest of the afternoon.
Thank you. You too. I hope everybody learned a lot.
All right. Thank you.